Good, beautiful morning, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of Shortcuts for Your Soul. My name is William Michael Forbes. I'm a spiritual medium, a channel, and an intuitive life coach. And today I have with me again the energy of the Ascended, who wanted to present the concept and the idea of realigning. The actual terms they use is return to your true heart. I found it very interesting when they said, because I asked them, what do you mean by true heart? True heart is the function of your consciousness as it was meant to be when you came into this dimension in response to humanity's call for love. Each and every person has come into this world in response to a call for love. You came in as a function of love. And what happened to you from your environment, what you were bombarded with in terms of information and ideas, either brought you closer to your function of love or pulled you further away from it. We shall share more about that in a moment. But I also want to say to everybody that this is a really powerful time on this planet right now. There are these energies, these polarities, if you like, of love and fear. It's really that simple. There's these two energies that we all live in, that we all get to choose from. And there's not one thing you can say, and there's not one thing you can do that does not fall under the category of being either an expression of love or an expression of fear, a reception of love or a reception of fear. There are only those two energies. In every science, in every study, in every function of the human consciousness in this dimension, there are only these two functions, that of love and that of fear. It's either coming from you or coming to you. There are no other energies to work with in this dimension. Your true heart is a function innately of love. Your true heart, while your biology has different functions in terms of its impetus to survive, your consciousness, your soul, if you like, came into this world as a function of love. And what happened after your arrival here either supported that or did not support that. Made you become more aware of your function, your heart, your divinity, or made you less aware of it. Now, we understand that these distractions are perpetuated specifically and deliberately by a handful of individuals, if you like, not necessarily physical individuals, but by individuals who are of a quality of consciousness that is not based in the function of love, but based in the functions of control and power and authority. 2/3 of your species is currently under the yoke of these individuals, and the very vast numbers that are employed by them, that have been convinced or seduced into fear with them. Hear what we are saying. The only two functions that you can perform, the only two elements of energy that you can receive from this world are either love or fear. The nature and quality of your thinking mind is either love or fear. Thoughts are love or fear. Actions are love or fear. If you cannot make the distinction between the two, then you will be experiencing confusion. And most of the 2/3 that are engaged in this confusion, this enslavement, if you like, are unaware of the distinction between this aspect of the self and what the world has presented itself to you to believe you should or should not be. Your confusion comes from believing that you are not what you are. If you understood that you are a function of love and not a function of fear, your world will evolve into something completely different than what you have ever witnessed here. Great civilizations have aspired and achieved to varying degrees this function of love as the dominant manifestation of your consciousness in this physical dimension, interacting with all other life forms in that venue of energy. That is love. How do you return to your true heart? It is not something to return to, it is something to remember. And because so many of you are entrapped in the structure of your thinking mind, entrapped by the senses of your biology that keep you distracted from looking inward, it makes it confusing. But it is very simple when understood in the terms that we're presenting to you. That every thought, every word, every action of all beings on this dimension of time, space, and matter that you exist in, all functions can only be of love or fear. They cannot be of any other quality. The degrees and range and scope of love and fear are varied. The darkest element of fear would be the manifestation of war. That is the darkest manifestation of fear, is war. The lightest manifestation of love is joy, compassion, kindness. A society that functions, honors, and cherishes each and every member of its system, as if that member was an extension of yourself. But again, so many of you have been indoctrinated into confusion about the distinction between love and fear. Many of you have been convinced to believe that love is a sensation of your body. Do not confuse sensation, which is a function of your physiology, with the function of love, which is a consciously chosen set of ideas and beliefs that initiate manifestations or conditions of the world that are considered good and beneficial, whereas the others are the elements of fear do the opposite. They create conditions and manifestations of that which would perpetuate your suffering. And so it begins to return to your true heart. You must begin to evaluate what the world has given you. You need to come to a place to evaluate what the world has given you in terms of what you are supposed to believe or not supposed to believe. To hold it up to this question: is this thought of love? Is this action of love? Is what I see and what I hear functions and actions of love? In this process of observational analysis over your personality and your environment, you can begin to choose a path towards your true nature, towards your divinity, if we could dare use that term, that the function of your great masters, the function of those that have ascended to heights of gratitude and graciousness, understand full well what the function of love is and have elevated themselves vibration out of this dimension. But you too, in becoming aware, what does love say? What does love do? To consider this places you foot after foot forward onto a path of returning to your own essential nature, which is love. It can be argued that there are beings, and there are beings on this dimension interacting with you, that are of great darkness and fear. But by their fruits you can know them. You can know them. Look in your cities. You can see if those who espouse to serve you are serving you or not. For if they serve in the truth of love, then all will be benefiting, not some at the expense of others, because love does not function that way. Fear functions that way. Control, authority, and power function this way. It is obvious. And all of you know that what we are saying is true, in the sense that you know that your suffering, your burden of enslavement to what you call your jobs, for example, is not natural or normal or healthy. It goes against your natural state of love, because love is not a function of survival. Love is a function of creation. Love is not a function of survival. Love is a function of creation. Fear is a function of survival. And those that would gain advantage to you will keep you in fear and in survival. And unless you question their motives observe their actions and their words and what they cause and effect, then you will simply bear the yoke of their neglect as if it were your own, which you are doing, so many of you, bearing the yoke of their neglect as if it is your own, that you are somehow individually damaging this earth. Nothing could be further from the truth. This earth is far more profoundly intelligent and evolved in consciousness, in its function of love, than any human being, political, social system, or army upon the face of this earth. This planet is far more evolved and equally capable of taking care of itself as your body is equally capable of taking care of itself when not interfered with by your consciousness or the consciousness of others. It is time to surrender the old yoke of survival and fear. Return yourself to your function of love. A message must be communicated until it is heard. And we will continue to communicate until you hear. Because you did not come into this world to experience suffering, as many of you are experiencing it under the yoke of control, authoritarianism, and power that you see running rampant on your planet. That you can see that a handful of individuals live in great and splendid comfort and luxury at the expense of the many. And you know these words are true, and the question you have always asked, well, that's just the way it is, you say. But they have taught you this. They have taught you to believe that that's just the way it is. We say to you, that is not the way it is. That you have the capacity in this moment to begin the selective process of evaluating what is your function. What heart do you nurture? Do you nurture love or do you nurture fear? The function of love in terms of how you should deal with these individuals that are perpetuating your suffering is another subject we will bring forth in a very short period of time. How then do you deal with these dark ones that have subjugated so many of you, that have convinced you that you must give to them what is rightfully yours, that you've been convinced to believe that that's what you're supposed to do? How do you overcome this? They have created armies. They have taken your wealth and your power, your knowledge, your wisdom, your efforts, and they've created great armies. They've created authoritarian mechanisms to manipulate and control you and subjugate you to fear, to keep you away from love, for they know that in the awakening of love within the mind and consciousness of man and woman, in the awakening of love inside yourself, you cannot be controlled nor manipulated, nor would you agree to accepting the functions of darkness or evil as if they were your own. You would not accept that. For the process of evaluation that you can bring yourself to, where you can say, this thought, this idea is not of love. This thought, this idea is of love. To come to that place to begin the process of building your mind into the image of yourself as a function of love and not a function of fear any longer, will loan you a direction that you might become free and liberate yourself from what is being done to you, what you are allowing to be done to you. And they will continue to do so as long as you stay in fear, which they actively keep you in. They actively keep you focused on fear. Much of your entertainment is based in focusing on conflict and pitting one against the other. And some have argued, well, this is just a way for us to express our manliness or our womanliness by getting into these fights and doing these things. That is not a function of love. That is a function of animals battling to see who will be superior. That is not love's function. That is the devil's function, the demon's function. The darkness functions that way. And it has convinced so many of you to believe that that is natural and normal and healthy. That objectifying and placing the body above your soul as something that's greater to be aspired to than the own realization of your consciousness, your soul, and its purpose. The realization of your purpose in this world, the realization of your purpose, however that function of love through you may actualize itself as a writer, as a speaker, as a teacher, as a healer, as a mother, as a father. However your love will articulate itself, it will be good. As equally as how your fear articulates itself, it will be bad. But you must begin this process, for they will not tell you this. They will not tell you that you are a function of love by nature. They will tell you that you are confused. They will tell you that your mind is not able to be controlled by you, that you cannot master or harness the power of your emotions, that you must remain subjective to their ideologies of health and well-being. But if these ideologies of health and well-being were so powerful, everyone on this planet should indeed be healthy and vibrant and fit. But that is not the case. And it is with great respect we say to those of you that are so entrenched in believing that fear is the way, we would say to you that fear is not the way, nor the truth, nor the light. Love is the way, the truth, and the light. And you must turn your back upon the machinations of fear to save your own soul, to redeem your heart of love. For you are in the image and likeness of that which made you, not in the image and likeness of which men have made you. These dark ones here who like to have authority and control and power over you. You are not to be in their image and likeness. But it is a simple process, though the journey can be rough and difficult from where you may be hearing these words from right now. Your mind may be filled with confusion, helplessness, hopelessness, anger, rage. But that is but a function of fear that you were not born with. And that you may turn your attention to what would love think instead of this? What would love say instead of this? What would love do instead of this? To begin that process. The journey will not necessarily be easy, as it will be equally as difficult getting out of what you've been put into, this vibrational consciousness of fear. It will be equally difficult getting yourself out of that as it was getting you into that. But the rewards of love are far greater than the sufferings of fear. You may ask your fellow brothers and sisters living on the streets, given the very things that cause them to perpetuate their suffering, under the guise, well, we must help them in this way. We must give them these drugs. We must give them the right to live on the streets. They that would suggest to you that suffering should be nurtured and cultivated are the darkest. You must turn your attention away from them and turn your heart back to its true nature, your function of love. There will be aid that will come to you in the very moment of choosing. I will think and act from love, and I will choose to maintain this. There will come aid to you, assistance. Those that are in resonance with that choice of love will come to you, guide you, and assist you, not just as we are through this one, but many others are emerging on the face of this planet. Some of your great intellectuals, you say, that understand the difference between right and wrong, good and evil, are prime examples of angelic beings arriving here in physical form to assist you, to learn to make the distinction between what is love and what is fear. A political system of love is a prosperous one indeed, and all its citizens benefit. A system based on fear creates great suffering and wailing and gnashing of teeth that would cause more of itself. It is very simple in its application, but difficult in its sustaining. You must sustain the function of love. That is what you are. Hear these words. Listen. You are not your fear. You are love. The fear was given to you by these ones. The ones who we speak of, the ones we often call the dark ones. They control much of the information that you receive. There's very few places you can go in your cities or in your world that they're not bombarding you with some form of seduction to fear or resentment or judgment. Us against them, they say. Let's beat that team, they say. They say that overcoming and destroying or harming another is a good thing. And they would convince you that, oh, this is just playful exercise. They would convince you that fear is a good thing. And many of you have come to believe this. And we say to you, no, the only value in fear is if it protects your body from being hurt by an object or eaten by an animal. The only function that fear has is to sustain the body's awareness sufficient enough so that it does not come to harm. But in the evolution of your love, the development of your function of love, your body will come to no harm. And those around you will come to no harm. Understand that the depth of entrenchment into this vibration of fear that's been, again, perpetuated into about 2/3 of your global population will take some time. For many of you may hear these words and think, this person is crazy. My football games, these things are good for me. These things that I do, these competitive sports are a blessing. That we can see each other harm each other in these enclosed spaces is a good thing. That you would believe to harm another is good is evil. To believe that you have to overcome one in order to become more of what you are, in that context, will simply make you more of what you are not. If you use the function of force to overcome somebody so that you may stand over them and say, I am better than thee, then you are not functioning of love. You are functioning of control, authority, and power, which is what is controlling you now. It is controlling you until you become aware that it is. And you would say, and they would say, of course, but what would we do if we do not have these things to do? Would you not raise your children and grow your food and treat your body as divine temples? Would you not honor and respect and love your neighbors? Would you not honor your mind as a divine instrument of creation? Is that not what love does? That is what love does. It honors mind, body, spirit, and life. That which is not of love will not do this. I'm just asking if I can interrupt. So when we drove down to where we are from Toronto, it was a 4,000 kilometer drive. And we drove by, I cannot tell you, hours of countryside, empty, wide open countryside, not just in the United States, but in Mexico. Wide open. Tens of millions of acres, wide open. Nobody there. There is not a housing shortage. There's been a creation of fear that tells you there is. And we got evidence of that. Yeah, I know. I'll get back to that in a second. So this process of information that they control is terrible. They convince you to believe there's not enough food, there's not enough air, there's not enough clean water, there's not enough housing. There are literally tens of millions of available land on this planet that everybody could have their own space, their own home. Literally. Why can't you? Because these mechanisms called government, which are mechanisms of manipulation, control, authority, and power that manage all of the things that were given to you by the same source. This world was given to all of us. So I'm going on myself. They're saying, suffice to say, you do understand that you are under the yoke of wrongful authority and control. It is time to awaken, for you are not in lack on this planet. You are in great abundance on this planet. You are not in lack on this planet. You are great abundance on this planet. Understand that you do not need to eat the meat of this world in order to thrive. There's great abundance in the natural foods that will sustain and make your body of light. There are foods in this world that will make your body of light, that will make your mind clear. And there are foods, most of which you are being given, that are detrimental and damaging and harmful, that bring you into fear and darkness, into pain and suffering. And they create systems to perpetuate your suffering, these so-called systems of medicine that while they can give few examples, the number of individuals that die in this physical dimension as a result of this so-called system of health is atrocious and destructive. And the very fruit on the trees around you could give you more of life than any system of science that says to you, these pills and these drugs will sustain you better. And yet the evidence of what is observable would seem to indicate that is not true. But because they control these vast swaths of your information, it is difficult to extricate yourself from the illusions of fear that are presented to you and bombarding your senses every day, and awakening yourself to your function of love. Your body is not for the world to take care of, it is for you. It is your divine temple. Your mind is not for the world to make up, it is for you. It is your divine creative instrument. And you are a soul, a function of love. For whatever reason, it is time to awaken. Remember who you are. Surrender your suffering. Surrender the suffering they give you. Turn your back on they that would have you suffer. And turn to those that would say to you, find the light within you. Be the light that you are. Be as you are, which is love. Be as you are, which is love. Remember, thought can be of only love or fear. There is no in between here. Actions can only be of love or fear. Words can only be of love or fear. And your whole human world is structured in these energies. And your life, beautiful soul that hears these words now, that is listening, you are a function of love. Not because we are saying so, but because that is the truth into which you were born. What happens in your environment is another element that you must learn to evolve yourself beyond, to rise above the seductions of this world that would keep you in fear as being a substantial way of evaluating your life. Fear will not give you any value. Fear will not give you any value. It will cause you to suffer. So to perpetuate your suffering is to further enslave you. And we are here in greater and greater numbers as the days and months and weeks in your planetary time system increase. We are here in greater numbers to bring this message loud and clear, that you might awaken and cast off the yoke of your masters and restore yourself to the one light of love that lives through your own mind and heart, that you may reclaim your birthright as a function of love in thought, in word, in deed. Turn your back on all those things that will perpetuate or sustain fear. Turn your back on those things that will sustain and perpetuate your fear or the fear of your brothers and sisters. But you must make the choice. We can extend ourselves because that is our function, to extend ourselves as love. But you must become that as well. You must choose to be an extension of what you are as well. Or you may choose to be the object of conditioned fear, which many of you are. Your great religions, so-called, are mechanisms of control, authority, pitting you one against another. This one is bad and this one is good. Look at the mechanisms of fear and turn your back upon them. No matter the holy book, no matter the scripture, if it tells you to hate your neighbor, if it tells you that you should harm another, it is not of love. It is not born of your God. It is born of the darkness, of the fear. And you need to awaken to that realization. Because there is only one life here. And it is human and animal and plant and bird and fish. One great life, not meant to be divided. The birds do not recognize the borders. And you say, well, people are just crossing our borders. They are hungry. They are seeking a better life. But because you have these machinations of control and authority and power, not knowing which is righteous and which is not, it makes it very difficult for you to decide how to proceed, not only individually, but as a species. How do you proceed then towards love and away from fear? We've already illustrated several areas in which you can begin to do that. what you yourself can begin to do. And if you begin to assert your function of love, the more of you that choose to assert your function of love, the less you will have need of them that would keep you in fear. For you will know then that your happiness and fulfillment is not dependent upon them, but upon your own function of creativity, which is a function of love. Your mind is a creating instrument. Please understand these words, that you might be free and know you are free. Because those that are governed by fear are enslaved to it. And of course, the ones would say, and those who are governed by love are enslaved to it. But which would you prefer, to have love as your master or fear as your master? You've had many thousands of years in many different civilizations living under the yoke of fear. It is time to awaken, to arise, to ascend your consciousness to a function of love. And when you begin to do this, we witnessed an example of one of your examples of saying, we do not accept this. There are many companies on this planet that did things that you willingly knew were wrong. They knew it was wrong, and you willingly knew it was wrong, and you said no. You said no. You pulled your energy, your attention from that function of fear, which perpetuated a lie about man and a lie about woman to confuse you further. To confuse you further, and you recognize that, and many of you said, we will not accept this lie. And those companies slowly begin to crumble because you no longer feed them. They seduce you into mindlessness with their substances. So it's not a matter of changing from one substance to another. It's giving up the substance that would make you mindless in the first place. Alcohol is very detrimental to you, you know. But to come to this understanding, we come through this one because he is a clear channel. He's a space that allows this information to flow through as clearly as we could possibly articulate it to you. This does not make him any more special. It simply means it's a point of transmission. And there are many points of transmission emerging, coming into light, coming to manifestation in love and in support of its manifestation. And those who function thusly, again, do not judge them by their own challenges and struggles, for they too are casting off the yoke that you are now casting off. Wow. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I was told just to go right into that and just let it flow. So that's what's happened. And again, there's no better time right now than for you and me and everyone we know to consider these ideas. What is it? What thoughts? Where do your thoughts come from? Is this a thought of love? Where did it come from? Is this a thought of fear? Because thoughts create emotions, right? Thoughts create emotional energy. Emotional energy create physical reactions. And I love what they're saying here, that we, as at birth, are functions of love. We came in as a function of love, not as a function of fear. We came in as a function of love, a function that was pure and good and right and just. As every newborn comes into that energy. Every newborn comes in as themselves in that state of purity. And yet they would tell you that there's something wrong with allowing a being of love to come into your life. It's a very difficult place for some people because they compete for our senses all the time by what you watch on television, what you read in the news, what you hear people talking about. Most of it's not based in love. It's based in control, power, and fear. I hope you evaluate that process. Hi, guys. Yeah, good morning. Hello, Drusilla. Looking forward to seeing you in the 102, Drusilla. Yeah, there are lots of new technologies coming to help change them. So I'm just going to scroll and see what sort of questions we got going on. Hi, Holly. Good to see you, Holly. What a blessing. Sending you much love. I hope that your singing has been given the space and time that you deserve it to have. That you give your singing that vehicle of love, because your singing is a vehicle of love. And I really, truly hope with all my heart that you give your love through that, because it's not just for you. It's the gift that you're here to offer to humanity. In fact, all talented musicians and singers, all doctors, nurses, health practitioners came here to function as extensions of love. That was our initial function. And with the dark ones, some of them call him Satan or the devil or whatever you want to call it, right? Those ones corrupted the purity of the gifts that many of you have brought forth in this world. This is what they tell me all the time. The gifts that many people have brought forth. They say that every doctor and nurse came in as to be a healer, one that could heal with touch and heal with sound and heal with natural mechanisms. That doctors were naturally, people inclined to be doctors, and nurses are naturally inclined to be healers, not drug pushers and drug dealers, but healers. That's their natural function, and they've been skewed away from that by mechanisms of control, authority, and power, and they've been seduced into those mechanisms by the luxury of everything, right? They got caught up in the senses, and a lot of people, singers, performers, entertainers, their gift of love has been seduced into a mechanism of fear. So Holly, when you share your music, please let your music be that of a function of your love, because I know that's who you really are. And that's who all of you really are. Every one of you is a function of love. If you can recall that, what does love say? What does love do? What does it sound like? What words construct and represent a frequency and an expression of love? What thoughts do this? What actions do this? Contemplate this. Because it's going to take some time to unplug yourself, so to speak. Like the Matrix says, unplug yourself from the Matrix, which is a fear-based mechanism telling you can't do more, you can't be more than what you are, death and taxes, all these messages that are given to you on a daily basis. It's time to rise up. Like they said, return to your true heart, which is the function of love. Also want to say, for those of you that are new to this channel, or those of you that have been watching me for a while, this Saturday, November the 18th, our Masterclass 102 Liberation, which deals with how to train your mind and body to release old emotions from your mind and body, the old thoughts, the old beliefs, the old patterns that are manipulating and controlling you, the patterns you've been given by the mass media, the patterns you've been given by so-called educational system. Yeah, they want me to tell you that teaching is not about making a person remember what you tell them. Teaching is about the person experiencing what you show them, that they may know the truth themselves. But your model of education is in deep need of repair, as it does not sustain nor support the development of one's function of love, but simply asserts the mechanisms of fear, authority, and control over you. Oh, thank you. Anyway, so it's a 3-week course. It's going to be held from this Saturday right through till the 23rd, from the 18th right up to December 8th. And right now, I was guided by my partner to put up on our site a 30% discount on all our products that are offered on the website. So you can use the coupon code Ascension with a capital A. And I've got that written down. Use the code Ascension to get a 30% discount off the course. It is so important that people realize they do not have to hold on to old emotions. You don't have to keep them in your body anymore. You can literally release them from your body, release them from your mind. You did not come here to suffer. You came here to create. Anyway, I invite you to come out. It will change your life. It will impact the lives of the people around you, and you will begin to realize and remember your true nature, which is, again, a function of love. So remember, use the coupon code when registering for the course, Ascension with an uppercase A. Ascension with an uppercase A. And you still have about 3 more days to register. Thank you so much. Let's get to some questions and answers here. Amanda. Thank you, Amanda. Would love a message from my guides or my grandpa. Thank you for that super chat, Amanda. Would love a message from my guides or my grandpa. He's saying it's time for you to evaluate what the true role of mother is, what the true role of a wife is. What is the function of love as a mother? What is the function of love as a wife? This must be consciously chosen. You must choose this. Choose that. I like that. What is, I'm paraphrasing now. What is the function of love as a mother? What is your function of love as a wife? To really evaluate what that is. Because each of you individually has to make that decision. Each of you individually has to define what is love as a word, as an action, as a deed in relation to yourself and the world, and how you interact with your own mind and your own body. What are functions of love? Very powerful. Thank you so much for asking that question, Amanda. It cannot be said or underscored enough that your true nature is a function of love that has been distorted by the information and impediments that have been placed in your mind by the environment, and that only you can begin a process of self-evaluation that can restore you to your true function of love. And I'll tell you, when you live from love, you're not going to support anything that doesn't represent love. Anything that represents harm or hurting people, you'll turn you away from because you realize it's not who you are. It's just something you've been trained to believe, right? And most television shows now focus on causing people to suffer. Decluttering Mama asking, any message from my spirit family that I need to hear for my highest good today? Many thanks. Decluttering Mama, thank you for your question. I really appreciate it. Yes. Listen carefully to what was said. Review this. You understand the function of love will lead you to the answers and the people and the opportunities that you seek right now. But you must ensure that in your awakening time that you are conscious and meticulous about the function of love, how you extend it, and how you receive it, to understand how to receive it. There are elements that we did not get to discuss today about how, when you are faced with one who lives in fear, how do you extend your love to them that are in fear, to transform their fear from fear to love? Because you can transform a state of energy from fear to love. You can do that. Oh, thank you. Thank you for the super chat, Ian. I really appreciate that. Ian's asking, hi, women, is it truly possible to heal the body with the power of the mind? Absolutely, Ian. I had an experience last night. I was really blessed. My partner, Norma, channeled Master Jesus and Archangel Raphael. She's a practitioner of QHST. And last night I got this really dark energy in my solar plexus, really intense. It made me feel really nauseous. And she took her hand and she put it on the back of my body, and this burning fire entered my hand. And she said, I'm channeling the energy of Master Jesus and Archangel Raphael. And literally, it just burned away all that discomfort. It was amazing. She did it twice, and it was less intense the second time, because the first time was literally like my body on fire. Yes, you can. You can also request Archangel Raphael to come and heal you. Be open and receptive to receiving it. If you are, yes, I will. They want me to tell you that it's important that you align yourself to the truth that healing is a natural function of love. Align your mind and body to the truth that healing is a natural function of love. Your next consideration then would be, how am I functioning as love towards my mind and body? As these will loan themselves to giving you the mechanisms of thought and action towards your body. Is this a function of love? There are many in your so-called health systems that give you things that do not act as functions of love, but act as functions of suffering and have a cumulative and degenerative effect on your biology. But ask yourself those questions, and you will find the freedom to the answers that you will reap by applying them. Thank you. Thank you, Ian. Hi, TikTok. Looks like we got some really cool questions going on. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. We got 5,500 likes on TikTok. Yeah, let's keep going to some more and more views. Notice the post. That's wonderful. Hi, guys. Hi, Nari. Please remember to follow, subscribe, like, do what you can do to bring this information to other people. Bring this information to other people. And because on TikTok, the live events just get stored in a backup file. Go to my YouTube channel. Direct your friends to the YouTube channel to the video that you think would be really helpful for them. And all the lives are on my YouTube channel under the live sections, because we have been told to only do live events, as they tend to be more in the present moment. They're less contrived. We don't use manipulations and contrivances to get you to accept what we're saying or believe. We don't use beautiful, flourishing music or colors and lights and sounds or special appearance mechanisms you call makeup. We don't use those things. We want you to know the truth without the embellishments of it. That does not mean to say it is not wise to be vibrant and healthy and strong, for it is. But the function of truth is in and of itself more important than the contrivances that might allow some to accept it more than others. Thank you. Jen's asking, what's blocking me? Jen, you've got an energy up in the top right section of your body. It's an old emotion you've got stored there. You're holding on to, it's like a pressure right here. Bring your attention to the pressure. Bring your attention to the pressure, that feeling where the block is. Bring your attention to it and communicate the following thoughts to that block of energy there. Will not ignore you. I'm willing to love you, even if I do not understand you. Communicate those thoughts. Remember, every thought is either a function of love or a function of fear. And as a function of love, it will cause different effects than the function of fear. So extend those thoughts to that block and you'll feel it dissolving very quickly. Again, these are practices that you will learn in the 102 Masterclass, how to actually change emotions that you got locked into your body, how to release them, how to evaluate them, begin to change your mind in a very different and effective way for yourself. Thank you so much. Great question, Jen. Yes, he's okay. He wants me to tell you he's okay. He says the tragedy was not getting the chance to say goodbye the way he wanted to. The tragedy was in not getting to say goodbye the way he wanted to, but I will take this opportunity now to say to you how grateful and honored and cherished I have been to be that role in the family, to be that role to you and others. Understand that I awaken to these things now. Forgive my errors and my trespasses, but understand that I am honored at this point to serve to you what love I may and what love you can receive. He says he will be hovering around you behind. He's going to hover behind you. You'll notice that right now. Pay attention. You're going to hover energetically behind you. Just because a person leaves the physical medium of expression doesn't mean they leave existence. They just leave the perceptible realm of matter, right? The perceptible realm of matter. I like that. Got enough time for 2 more questions here, and then we're going to, and again, remember, you want to make certain that you take the time to go and sign up for the 102 Masterclass. It will prove to be profoundly life-changing for you. Profoundly. You did not come here to suffer. You came here to be a function of love. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for all of you guys contributing. I don't get to see all the questions. I don't get to all the questions. We try to get to as many as we can in the short time that we have. Brookie's asking, my dad passed without me being able to say goodbye. Does he have a message, any message for me? He said he received it in his soul. He received your love and your light in his soul. He wants me to ask you, did you receive his? Can you feel it now? Can you receive my love now? Like literally, yeah, just let yourself receive and feel that his love. Because it's not about what he looks like. It's an energy he's transmitting to you. Let yourself connect to that. Let yourself connect to that right now. Wonderful. That's beautiful. Someone's saying, can I ask a yes/no question? Yes, please do. Who's that? That's Nari? Najala? Yeah, please, you can ask a yes/no question. Absolutely. Feel free to ask yes/no questions. But let me know that it is a yes/no question so that I know to give you a yes or no. Because again, you can feel that yes or no in the field almost immediately. I'll wait until I see that. Yes, I get that. Someone's saying here, I turn back to love, manifest goodwill, and love every day. Wake up with a positive thought. That's beautiful. Thank you for doing that. Every time you choose a thought of love, you add to it on this planet. You start to nurture it on the planet. Anytime we add to a thought of fear, anger, guilt, or shame, we add to that. But a lot of people don't know they're doing it. A lot of people don't know they have choice over what thoughts they'll think. And now people are being taught to believe you can't control your emotions. It's just the way they are. A lot of people have been taught to believe that. They have no choice or authority over their own emotions. And nothing can be further from the truth. For your thoughts create emotional qualities. Yeah, your thoughts create emotional qualities. Okay, one more question from YouTube and one more question from TikTok. So YouTube, number 32. I understand that animals such as chicken, cow, fish, etc. incarnate in love with the intention of being consumed as an act of playing a role in the food chain, correct? Yes and no. Yes and no. In the time of your most earliest civilizations, what you call the Garden of Eden, there was no such consumption of flesh. For the trees provided abundant nourishment. The necessity for eating flesh came when Eden fell, when humanity was cast out of love, which is what Eden was based on, the function of love, to be in alignment with your love, which is your divinity. So the true function of eating flesh is not that of love. There is more than enough abundance on the trees to feed all of you, but you have not been told this, and you've been led to believe that there are these things called food shortages. Nothing could be further from the truth. You could be growing your own food in your backyard, your own plants and vegetables. But there are some among you who came into embodiment that benefit greatly from eating flesh, but that is not a general rule, more of an exception. But as in the animal kingdom, there are those that are what you call carnivores and herbivores and vegetarians and omnivores. And the same is true in certain segments of the human population. But it was not that way in the beginning. In the beginning, flesh was honored and cherished. All life was honored and cherished. Even the flesh of the fruit was honored and cherished. And it offers itself willingly to you. It falls at your feet. You have to go out and hunt animals who do not willingly give themselves, any more than you would willingly give yourself to the sword or the knife. These animals do not willingly give themselves to you. They are taken by force. There are instances in what you call your native peoples where the relationship between animal and man was a sacred one, where the pursuit of meat was not for the sake of meat, but for the sake of an exchange of honor and respect between the life forms, recognizing that each sustains the other. In that context, where these beings that you call great bison, view of which now exist on your planet, offer themselves in their abundance to you as the trees would offer the fruit of their abundance to you. That is a very different form of flesh and an exchange that's very different than what you are speaking of here. Wow. Thank you, number 32. Appreciate that. Does Norma do QHHT on internet? I believe she can. You can reach out to her. I believe, Drusilla, you can reach out to her and ask her. But I believe she'll do it online. She'll do it long distance, and she'll do it in person if that opportunity is presented. But yeah, she's very, very gifted. Like I said, when she channeled the energy of Master Jesus and Archangel Raphael, I literally felt like my whole body was on fire, right? I almost wanted to jump away from it. And they said, no, stay. You must endure the fire of purification for what the energy I was dealing with, right? And I can still feel a bit of residue, but they said I can manage this a little bit myself. They won't do it all for us. They'll do enough that we can understand it's possible, and we must do the rest. The ascended masters, Master Jesus, didn't heal because he healed to teach healing. He did miracles to teach creation. He still does. But he didn't live to be your authority. He lived to teach you to be and live in the light that he lives in, which would make you equal to him. And he says that very clearly in multiple places. Yes. Anyway, let's go over to TikTok. One more question on TikTok. Trying to get these questions here. Sorry, guys. Wonderful. I'm glad you're hearing that. Someone's saying, yeah, I feel like I'm stepping into my higher self. I only crave fruits. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you, Dash, for the gifter badge. Really appreciate it, because God is love. Yeah, God is love. The devil is fear, if you want to put it that way. But you have to choose. You have to choose whether you're going to be functioning from love or fear. We have to choose. That's the only power you have in this world. It's the power of your choice to choose love or to choose fear. That's it. Good morning from Oakville. I'm so glad I got my Toronto viewers down here too. That's great. Hello, Toronto. And we've had some Mexican viewers here too. Question: do I have a message? Do you have a message for me today? I need one. Nari, that despair. You need to realize that despair is not yours. You need to extend your love to the despair. How would you treat your child? How would you treat your child if it were in despair? Are you not worthy of that also? How would you treat your child if they were in despair? Are you not worthy of that also? Wow. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. Wonderful, Drusilla. Look forward to seeing you in the class. Again, I'm going to remind everybody before we sign off. For those of you that want to have a private reading with me or join our Masterclass series, between now and the 24th of November, we have a Black Friday special. That's what we're calling it. My partner said, you need to do this. And it's a 30% discount off all the products and services we're offering between now and the 24th. And the coupon code is Ascension, capital A, Ascension. Use that coupon code when you're checking out, and you get a 30% discount off any product or service that you choose. And I want to wish you all much love. I want to thank my guides, my angels, the other beings that came present with us. And I want to thank all of you guys for having the courage to sit here and take this in and hopefully actualize what they've asked us to do, to really consider what love is as a function for your life in thoughts and words and actions. And I'll say, have yourselves a wonderful, joyful day. Bye for now. And I will see you guys when I see you next. Bye for now.